All right, here we are live. I have with me today Thalison Soares, the world champion in Jiu-Jitsu. Thanks for being here, by the way. I really appreciate your time.
For having me.
I know you're quite busy with everything.
Yes, looking forward. Yeah,
I wanted to get you on today because obviously, you know, you've achieved this great thing, and this isn't so much a talk about jiu-jitsu because our community, I don't know, a few people do jiu-jitsu, but probably not many. But it's more, I'd like to know more about like your approach to things and how you think about training and how you got to your goal. And so it's pretty informal, you know. You can talk about whatever you want. You don't have to answer any questions you don't like. You can take the conversation in a completely different direction if you want to. I just want to get people in the community to get a taste of what it is to, you know, create something from nothing, which you have, to something that's really remarkable. So for those that don't know, Thalison has won the world champion from blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt consecutively, if that's right, which is, how many people in the world have actually done that?
Not many, right?
Not many, if any. Yeah, so it's like a 0.1% of the population has achieved what you've done. You know, it's pretty. Yeah. It's like winning the lottery. So, if we can jump right into it, one of the questions that we brought up the other day is that now that you've achieved this amazing thing that took, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years of your life or more to create, and you've reached the top of the mountain, so to speak, you know, what next? What next for you?
Yeah, like since we started the conversation,
I think we've stalled.
Sorry, is it back?
Yeah, there we go. We got you now.
I don't know what happened. Okay. So yeah. So since we started this conversation, I've been like thinking about it and trying to kind of have an answer for that. I think it started with like trying to find the new generation, or like trying to leave a mark on that whatever you set your mind, whatever goal, whatever dream you have, you can chase it. Like you can chase it, and you can, if you believe it, truly believe with your heart, you can achieve it. I think that's for me now. It's more like inspiring the next generation, older than trying to keep winning wars and see how far I can take it.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, I guess the feeling, as great as it is kind of like, I've been there, I've done that. And you could do it again if you know, no doubt you could do it again. But, you know, I imagine like you've spent a lot of your life getting towards this goal, and now that it's done, it's like, well, I've got all this knowledge and experience, and I'm an example, and now, I want other people to know that it's possible as well.
Yeah, and not just like in jiu-jitsu like I did, but trying to translate to different areas, because I believe it's the same mindset and the same commitment and the same discipline, whatever you want to achieve, Um, because I did transfer that not only like as a career, but also as a business, and trying to have a school, and trying to apply the same mindset to be able to achieve and have a successful school as well. So I do believe you can transfer that for any kind of area.
Yeah, I think that's important to note because, a lot of martial artists, rave about all the benefits of practicing martial arts, whether it's jiu-jitsu or something else. The confidence you get, the belief in yourself, the discipline, all those things. But what's not really emphasized is how that translates. And I think that's really going to be a benefit to this group is like, well, if I started doing jiu-jitsu, for example, apart from, I'm not going to be a world champion. I'm not, that's not my focus, but I want the benefits of that, and I want to apply it to other things. So like, how does that translate? Especially if I'm curious from your perspective, who's, achieved so much in such a short time at a young age. How does that help you in other areas of your life?
Well, like you can see it in so many ways. I do believe like there's so many lessons that you kind of can translate from one to the other, because like jiu-jitsu gonna be one of the hardest thing and the most frustrating thing you ever gonna do. Like if you really serious about it and really want to improve, and so does anything like a worth fighting for in life. Like anything. So having that mindset, like showing up every day and going through what you need to do in, let's say, in class, or for example, you prepare for competition, things like this way. It's how it transfer, like the commitment of showing up every day and doing what you have to do is one of the things. Other good example is like in jiu-jitsu we all see ourselves like in bad positions that like you can't, like that you start that you need to think what gonna be your way out, and most of the time forcing your way out won't be the answer. So you're gonna have to have a technical way to get out of that, and then I'll believe that that's like anything else, like if you're just trying to push your way out, if you're thinking through how you're gonna do it and trying to think a technique to get out of that scenario that you're facing, you won't be able to get out of that. You're gonna stay stuck there forever, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's these
I would
tangible things.
even like to ask that back as a student. What do you think? Like you very committed training every single day. What do you think? Like you can transfer from one to the other. You know the lessons.
Sorry, you asked me, did you? Sorry.
Yeah. Like in your point of view, what do you think?
Well, I think one thing that you have that is pretty rare is that apart from being a great practitioner of jiu-jitsu, you're good at teaching it too and simplifying things. So, and there isn't, it's the academy is like, it's very different from other dojos I've been to, where there's this sort of hype and pressure to train hard. And I think there's a lot more, everyone's a lot calmer and thinking a lot more about what they're doing. And it seems more technical, I suppose, but it's like everyone is trying to work out how to do it and and to integrate it into their style rather than just, push through and get to the other side. And one thing I noticed with you is, I mean, I'm sure there's some hard rolls that you do, but you don't seem to be straining at all, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really cool because
that's one of the things about like myself that I try to, pass to everyone. It's like not forcing the way and trying to find a technique, or most of the time you know the technique, but you want to kind of have your own way instead of trying to do like someone else, And that's the one of the beautiful things about jiu-jitsu is like you can adapt it to your style, to your body type, and the way you process things.
Mm. What with jiu-jitsu specifically, it's like your journey going from white belt, blue, purple, brown, black. Like, what were there key themes at each belt that you had to get through before going on to the next one?
Well, I think first you want to be like exposed to as many kind of scenarios as you can, like a technique wise, like a specific training wise, so like, you understand yourself and see what you're capable of. So kind of like, then you can understand your own style and the thing that work for you, and then you kind of develop around that. I think that starts to make clear and clear with time, because then you start like adding more things to it, start to master more as well. And the more time you spend on it, the better you're gonna get at it until you become good at it. Once you have the things you're comfortable in doing it, and then you can start adding more and then repeating the process like in all the different aspects of the game as well. And that thing you can go through like every belt, from white to black.
And so, like, I'm blue at the moment. What are some of the things that I need to have under my belt before I go on? Because you don't want. One thing I've discovered is you don't want to get your belt too early. You want to get it when you're ready.
Yeah, like you don't want to be the worst of the next belt, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, as a blue belt, like you wanna have like a starting. You don't wanna have the pressure of now I need to have a game plan, all that. I think that you start to develop more as a purple is when you start to refine more the techniques. But as a blue belt, you wanna have the some knowledge there in yourself that you kind of can defend yourself, can start attacking people already, understand what they are doing toward you, and be able to like let's say stop it, but understand what they're doing so you can start working on that, start having that understanding of what is going on there instead of like a just roll or technique on top of you that what's going on. Makes sense? But really like I have the understanding of jiu-jitsu.
So, like, to see the map, you need to know what the map looks like, all the movements, positions.
Yeah. So what, for example, what scenario you are on? What is your like option you have there? What's the option that your partner has there, and how you like can avoid it or counter-attack it? So then you kind of can start to map your options. What make easier for you as well to kind of develop on top of that, because it would be hard for you to ask like a good question for yourself if you don't know what the scenario you're facing, like what is the problems you having. So you want to be able to map the scenarios, and then it'll be easier for you to kind of find solution for it, ask and search, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things that translates into lots of skills is that you need to have enough understanding of what you're doing. So when you make the decision that you want to get better at something, to get better at this. In this case, is jiu-jitsu. It's like, well, now I know what questions to ask to get information to get better. Whereas before, as a white belt, you're just sort of in there discovering everything. Everything is new. As the blue belt, you got some experience now. You know what this position is and what it's called, and you know how that relates to the next piece. And then you go, okay, well, this is where I need to focus, you know. And now I know how to ask questions to get information to get better. And so now imagine going up to the next level is more about refining that and getting, you know, more detailed, more nuance. So you go
So
over the territory again, but in more depth.
So then when you start to refine everything, like, as then you already have the let's say the knowledge, you know what's going on there. You did spend some time in the same scenario there, like over the same pan or different pan, so you know what's happening there, what can going on. So then is when you start adding more details and then learn more about the technique, you know, having some different option around it.
I've also heard people say that purple is the most fun belt for people. Is that true? Did you find that?
I believe so as well. I think that for me as well was one of my favorite belts as well, was my purple. I was like you know jiu-jitsu already, you know, like, and then all the passion you have for it, it's like you want to discover more things, you want to be able to do more things, you know, be able to create things and combine things. So that's things that you get very fascinated from there.
So it's more creative.
Yeah.
You're not trying to figure stuff out. You're more playing with everything.
Yeah, then I think like you really understand that you can kind of create your own thing, you know. Like you don't have to kind of follow step by step of one thing to be able to get good at it. You can start like combine things and see what make more sense for you.
Yeah, it must be like when you get a few Lego sets, you don't just have to go off the plan anymore. You can start making your own, make up what you want, and playing with the pieces.
Yeah, then look, you understand like what is your goal, and then you know, and kind of build your way to that. For example, like you're trying to sweep someone. You don't really have to do like the way everyone else do. Like you can start combine different type of sweep, different type of guards, and take your time. Like, you know, really start adapting for you.
When you won the purple belt gold, was that the point where you're like, okay, this could be, you know, I could be really great at this, you know, or was it kind of you was just like, wow, I can't believe it happened, or?
Yeah. At the purple belt level is where I felt like I did master like the techniques to be able to take that to the highest level, you know, and did build the confidence to that as well, and like I knew the approach to take it to the highest level now, the level I fight today. And I was good to fight a purple belt as well, because everyone else was like more technical, so it was technique against technique, you know. So then is where I felt, okay, my technique, what I'm doing, my game plan and strategy and training all makes sense.
Did you do things like visualize winning, or did you have posters on the wall, or, you know, I asked that because I remember hearing about a gold medalist in she was an athlete in, you know, Olympic athlete, and she painted the gold medal on her mirror. So every time she got up in the morning, she would stand there and see the gold medal as a representation, and she would visualize what it would be like. Did you do anything like that?
Can you repeat your question, Brett? I think they did pause here. No, here, sorry.
Sure. So when you started to see that you could, go further, like this is a possibility now, did you start using, any visualization, any affirmations or pictures on the wall to get you thinking in the direction?
For sure. I was dreaming about it since I was like a 13, also very young. So I used to think about it all day long and see myself up there and see myself up in the podium and think, basically every single day, visualizing myself there, and each day of like a training, all seeing myself as the champion, winning and creating that and trying to see everything to the detail in my own head, and it's very needed as well, even like building a strategy to a competition, trying to think what can happen, what kind of scenario you're gonna face, and how you're gonna win all this scenario, and how you're gonna be the best at it, or how you bring it to your own game. So they spend a lot of time like thinking and seeing myself up there.
And I'm sure it wasn't always easy. Like, I'm sure there was some hard times where it felt like it was distracting you, it was taking you away from imagining what it would be like.
Yeah, for sure. I think for athletes, the worst thing is injuries. Injuries will take the most out, like kind of push you away, because you don't know if when you're gonna recover, and if you recover, you're gonna be 100%, and and take time to build the confidence on the area you did hurt. So I think that's always gonna be the hardest thing to kind of deal with.
What did you do to get through those periods? Those tough
Well,
times?
I tried just to stay positive the most of the time, and trying to do what I could, like techniques, and avoiding like anything that would hurt more. Or sometimes I had to fight even the injury, and kind of build a strategy around it where I would not expose my injury, and trying to win even like I was injured.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure, like, when you won the purple, like, did they give you the belts on the podium, like as traditionally done?
No, I did 2 years as a purple belt, because I did 1 year as a purple belt for the first time. I only had 4 months as a purple belt. So I was very young. I was only 17.
Wow.
Yeah, and the federation don't allow the athletes to fight with less. You need at least 1 year and 6 months as a purple belt to go to brown belt. So then I had to compete against the purple.
Was it a big jump moving from purple to brown?
No, I think was brown was one of, let's say, the easiest belt to compete, because not many people actually stay on the belt. Like people that are really good, they go through it pretty fast. Like I say, as a brown belt, like a 10 months on, you know. So you don't, it, like it's very rare to get like good people there. But then the rules change a bit as well. Like I start adding leg locks and all that. But I was exposed to this kind of technique very early as well. Like I had so many like teammates that was black belt, brown belt. So it was part of my training. So it wasn't nothing like different. And since I was a blue belt or even like lower belt, like kids belt, I was always trained to be a black belt world champion. Also, you want to embrace the mentality since you a blue belt. Now you don't want to think I want to be a blue belt world champion when your goal is bigger. 'Cause especially like uh, the level difference is massive. So if you're not preparing yourself, you're not taking the years to prepare yourself to be a black belt world champion and think, I'm a blue belt. Like you kind of push yourself, and they're just gonna carry you because you're not preparing yourself to it.
Mm-hmm. Can we just pause 1 second, Thalison? I'm sorry, there's someone at the door. I'm not expecting anybody. I'll just deal with this. I'll be back in a second.
No. All good. All good.
That's all right. They're gone. I don't know what that was. So when you get to black and you're going for that, like, I don't even know what they call it, the whole set basically. It's not just like you get to black, you're expecting to win. Everyone around you that knows you is expecting to win, but at the same time, you're going up against people who have been at black for maybe 10 years. It's open water, basically, isn't it? So,
yeah.
I mean, was that
black
mentally,
belts like everyone's there?
was that difficult to traverse?
Well, like black belt, like I said, everyone's there, So basically, the Thalys of now is there, but then Thalys of 10 years ago is there as well. Thalys of 5 years ago is there as well. People that won different belts, and so they are all there. So basically, you're gonna have to face them. You're gonna have to fight them, and they have the experience. So then it's all gonna come down to who has the best strategy, who's the better in the day, who did prepare the most. But I was lucky enough to to train with like a high level people before like all the world champs and be able to know that feeling. So it would not be something like a new. It would be like okay, I know that. I know the pressure. I know how it works, and it's not something new for me. Even that, like, let's say I'm exposed to it now on, and yeah.
But you had that added pressure of, if you didn't this year, then you wouldn't be the consecutive, from all the belts right through. And I'm thinking there's probably other people that have been in that same position that didn't get through and didn't achieve what you did. And, maybe that was a contributing factor to them not having the belief to push through.
Yeah, I think everyone like reacts in different ways, like I feel the pressure in different ways, and at that time when you need to put it out, there's not many people that actually do, right? Like if we put on paper, there's not many people that has the world title, and it's not something they're gonna be for everyone. Like there's people in the second, third, fourth short as a black belt, and I do believe that the more it passes, the more years like you trying, I think it get hard like mentally, and people that did win once, I think become easier because they unlock on your head that okay, I did it, I can do it again if I want, if I put the same work or even more work, I can achieve again.
Mm. I was watching the Lex Friedman interview with Hodger Gracie the other day, who, as you know, has won the world championship 10 times in a row. But not in a row? I'm not sure.
Not
I'm
sure,
still.
but yeah, but 10 times the world champion as a black belt.
Is that something that you'd like to do yourself? Would you like to be world champion multiple times, or is that not so much a passion anymore?
Well, I don't think I would want that many. I don't think that would make the like much difference for me. But for sure, I think I would now have more shot for nodes and see how it would be for me. Going for a second, a third. I don't know, but yeah, I don't have the desire of having so many. I don't think it changed
Yeah,
much.
I think that comes back to that initial question. Like, is there something that's going to take the place of that drive and passion that you had to get to where you are now, or is it something different now? Like, are you just more sit back and chilled and like, I'm happy just to coast along and learn at my own pace and grow
Uh,
and tinker with things, or
I think like for example the way I did and having a school like even before I became a black belt world champion, make it, let's say, you're not the priority anymore. Like you have other people that you there for them, you want to be there for them. Like when you just isolate yourself, let's say it's easy because it's just yourself. You just need to, you wake up thinking about yourself and all that. But like when you have other people, and especially like here that you have like kids that they are dreaming about it already, and you want to be part of it. You can start to divide that as well. You divide the drive, the commitment to them as well, and trying to understand like jiu-jitsu, for them, not for myself only, but for their kids, and how I'm gonna help them to achieve it. How I'm gonna make an impact, and be able to make them get there. Cause yeah, making people understand what you understand, I think is the hard thing, and I'll be able to coach what, let's say, you have the feeling only. It's very challenging.
yeah, I remember you were saying the other day, like, it's challenging to think of what to teach because not everyone can do what you can do, and so it's like, what do I give to everybody so they get what they need?
Yeah, yeah. It especially that it's hard to know like what's too much and what is not, and what the way that makes sense and what's the way that doesn't make any sense. And over the years, like trying things and failure, and then you want to get this make more sense than this. Nah, it's just about testing.
And thinking about like other people, teaching other people, has that helped you refine your own jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, you understand like the same thing in different ways. You understand basically something. Well, what I felt with myself the most was like a thing that I used to do it. I just didn't know like okay, that's how I do it. Makes sense. Like be able to teach it, be able to understand it to the details, and teaching what made it clear. And when bringing back to myself, then okay, if I make a mistake, I know what's the mistake I make, so it's make easy to correct.
Yeah, there's so many nuances, there's so many details. Yeah, I ran into that today actually, with the movement we did today. It was like, okay, basic mechanics, I kind of get it, but then there was a point in training where I go, okay, I think I've got this now. Like, let's move on. And then we keep doing it. And then I realize, hang on, there's a bit of a detail there that I didn't notice before. And it's like your whole, you see deeper into it.
Yeah, yeah. The more you do it, the more your body starts to kind of read the position as well. You know, like it's you see more details. You add your own way of seeing it as well. I believe like we all have like a different way that we learn things, and you know you'll be able to get that piece of information that you have in front of you and transfer to the way you learn, you teach yourself is the key, you know. And the more you do it, the more you can see it until you make that knowledge become like a skill.
Now that you're getting to see a reflection of how you do things in others, are you happy with your jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, like, I'm very happy with my kids. Yeah, it's especially like a today I try to simplify everything, you know, like trying to make something that's hard very easy and doable instead of trying to make it very complex and spend more time like trying to break it down. I prefer people spend more time like doing it and having the feeling of it.
Mm. Sorry, there's a knock on the door again. Excuse me, 1 minute. Sorry,
All good.
Thalison. Sorry, I'm just on the call. You have a look at the. Sorry, I have to get back on it. Okay. Yeah. So now that you've done all this and like your focus is on your school, your community, helping other people, what do you think is the core skills or attitudes, virtues that you use the most in transitioning from, you thinking about you being world champion to now, okay, we did that. Now it's more like, my focus is expanding to other people. What is it that you use the most now in that transition? How do you
Well,
how do you make the transition?
well, I think first thing you need to understand was people's expectation that where they want to be, you know, so you can deliver the product they are looking for. And when people come to this, they all looking for different things, you know, like they all trying to get different things. People there, you know, just for the fitness. People are there just for the community. Some people are there just, you know, to break a sweat. Other people there to be champion, you know. And then I'm trying to understand that is the first thing. But of myself, like what I try to always bring is the mentality of a champion, you know, and what as a champion I would do to keep progressing and trying to transfer that to the people, you know. And yeah, and other than that, it's like
Mm.
day by day, trying to learn, trying to progress, showing up, bringing a good, you know, image, and yeah, and doing what you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing the conversations in the locker room, which you probably wouldn't have heard, but many times you were saying how lucky we are to have you at the school because obviously because of your expertise and what you've done, but me being a new parent and I want my daughter to start training when she can, obviously for self-defense and so she can protect herself and all the good things that come with training in martial arts. but is that she'll grow up thinking that it's normal that if you want to, you can be a world champion, because she'll be seeing you face to face all the time. Whereas with me growing up, whenever I wanted to do anything, it was always someone on YouTube on the other side of the world that may or may not exist, and you couldn't just go and talk to people and ask them how they did it and how they thought about their approach, and ask them, what do I pay attention to in this huge.
Yeah, for sure. Like like kids be exposed to these kind of people is what make them, if they want it one day, they can believe they can achieve it. And glad to be that person.
Yeah, and especially because now with other players in the gym up, we have Chile now, who's just won a title. I think you got young Phoenix is doing really well, and a couple of the other kids that I've heard about but I don't know. They're just, you guys go to a tournament and the club cleans up. They always come back with some kind of medal, and it's becoming like a habit. And I think part of that is obviously the jiu-jitsu is very good, for sure. The training is great. The facility is world class. And we get visitors from all over the world to mix in, which is always good. But, it's almost like this subtext of, but that's just how it is. If you want to compete, then you're probably going to end up a champion, because there's kind of this culture breeding in the school now.
Become like a normal thing, right?
It's normal. It's not like, hey, we have to do this. It's like, no, that's just normal. Yeah. And it's kind of cool, really. I think it's really good what you guys are doing there. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the other part of, sorry, you were going to say?
No, just say thank you.
Oh, yeah, of course. The other part of the question of, now what, is when you hit your goal, you feel that, yeah, I did it. Awesome. But did you feel like, oh God, like, do you feel deflated, or like did you have to grieve?
Well, it's very, let's say, funny in some ways, because a lot go happening in your mind. Like, of course, the first feeling you feel like the happiness and the glory that you had, the momentum you had, was something like let's say a big relief. It's like that thing that you did dream for so long become reality, and it's happened, and later you, it is reality, and also then starts like a cool down, and then like start to go through like everything, like you you did sacrifice, through to that moment, and then start catching yourself, like it did make sense it all, and what changed and all that, yeah, it's very what can I say? For me now, I don't know. Just like a funny to just go through it all, Well, I believe it's part of the process. I think everyone that did achieve something so big probably went through it as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty common actually, because like most people, when they set out to achieve something, like you imagine being on the podium, for example, or you imagine putting the arm up and feeling that glory. But it's like, in striking they say hit through the target. I don't think, I know I didn't, when I was achieving my goals, I didn't think what it would be like after. you know,
Yeah,
like a
I think
year
nobody
after.
thinks about it, right? Like it's funny, like you just see your life
You're just
until
trying to
that
get
moment.
there.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
later it's like okay, what's next? And what?
Yeah.
For me, like
Yeah.
my personal experience with that is even like most of people they that did achieve it, they trying to become a world champion first, like become the best in the world, and then later they trying to open school. For me, I did the opposite. I
Mm.
opened school first, and then I actually become the best in the world after, and then now for me like what is next? Because I did the whole thing all the way around.
Yeah, you set it up before you got there, which is
Yeah.
smart to do it that way. Actually, I'm curious about that. Like having the school, I remember before you've got the black belt title, you were training really hard, or all the time. It felt like you were rolling with everybody, and every time I was there, at least. And I remember we were all expecting, of course you're going to win. Like, how are you not going to win? If you don't, we'll be surprised. The way what you were doing on the mat was amazing, right? And then, uh, how did you deal with that pressure of everyone's expectation of you, knowing that, hey, I'm at the end of the day, I'm a human being, and it may happen. I hope it happens, but it might not. Like, how did you deal with that?
Um. Yeah. It's a very very like I avoid try to think about things like this, not to add more pressure. I try to the only pressure I try to
Mm.
put myself, is doing my best and make sure I'm doing the best of my ability to achieve that. But it is a good pressure, like that it's not like you're gonna let the people down, but you kind of feel that way,
Mm.
like all the people are expecting you to win. That's like you did so many times before, and like okay, here we go again, Uh, yeah, it's
Mm.
a good, it's a pressure there. Well, I guess you just roll with it. You roll with the punch, right?
Yeah. Well, I remember you wouldn't have let anybody down. That's for sure. Because it was such a big mountain to climb.
Yeah,
It's not like just winning the world title or doing it more several times. It was like you had one shot at this. It was one take, and if you didn't get it, that's it forever. And I remember some of us were like, and I'm sure even your competitors were hoping you would do it, because it was such a rare thing. And if you did do it, then it would set a baseline that it was possible, like
yeah,
it could be done. It was one of those things that was almost impossible to achieve.
yeah. It was very very unique thing to do, and especially being there and being there moment, and think, okay, am I going to pull that out? You care a lot of pressure on it, like even your own expectations. Like I was thinking about it before. With time and after winning so many times, like the taste of victory is not the same anymore. Like it's like
Mm.
let's say it's a normal thing. It's not extraordinary anymore. It's not something
Yeah.
massive. But then for me, I'm like, okay, I can't just stop now after build all that. Like I need to make that happen. I knew I could
Mm.
do it, but then get close to it, like, can I? Start like a down yourself, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're human, aren't you?
yeah,
It makes it relatable. Makes it relatable. And I think it's good that you're so candid with that, because I know when I was growing up, looking at my mentors and the kids that are around you now, they probably think you walk on water. You know, you go out to your swimming pool and you can just walk across the water. And knowing that, you know, you had the doubts as well, you had the butterflies, you know, it's good. Because when they feel it, they go, oh, well,
yeah, it can relate for sure.
too.
Yeah, it can relate.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing, you know. It's a normal thing to feel, and you just kind of push through it and learn from it.
Yeah, it's one of the things that is a common theme in the spiritual community when it comes to manifesting is, you know, you send the thought out of what you want, and then you feel the feeling of it having it happen already ahead of time. And I think people imagine that it's going to be Toyota jump, you know, like which belt was the most exciting for you? Like what was the most emotion?
Definitely the black belt is the highest one, you know, because it's really like a 50-50, you know, like the how much you believe and how much you confident and how much you work for it, and then there's the other side, you know, how much you doubt yourself. You think, am I ready for that? And you know the other side is someone you know, the person is good, the person has won this and that, and then you're gonna have to face that person, and you're not only like trying to feel you can do it, but you also have to make that person believe they can't do it, you know. You have someone facing right there. So definitely black belt. Especially like the older belts, I always felt wasn't it, you know, wasn't it that I was looking for. Was the black belt that I was looking for. So the older belts are all okay, good, they feel great, but next year I have to fight better, you know. So all the I want more.
But as intense as it was, like you were saying, it always became a normal feeling.
Yeah, become very like ordinary after that. Like all right, that's it, you know. That's it. You kind of build some expectation around that, like, okay, how I gonna feel after that, you know, like what when I
Yeah.
become that, what happened, and then you become, and then you're all right, it's normal, nothing changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still like a human being, you know, like it's still a human being, still do the same things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like when I press people, you know, they say, "Oh, it would feel great. It would feel so good to achieve this goal." It's like, okay, well, what about after that? What about 6 months, a year down? You know, after that, you've done it. How does it feel? And they're like, "Oh, just, you know, you're pretty calm." You know, and so what I think about when I'm creating my goals is that yes, there's this excitement when you achieve, or this burst of emotion, but afterwards it's just kind of, yeah, you feel relaxed, I guess. I mean, you look very relaxed all the time, you know. And I think if people learned how to relax more, they would achieve more of their goals.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I felt like. You remove the weight from your back, right? Like the weight you've been carrying with you for as long as you've been trying to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve, like it just poof, it's away. And then after that, it's like okay, better stay relaxed, or do I put more weight on my back?
Yeah, because you know, with a goal like what you've done, there's more than enough pressure. You don't need to add any more, you know, and and I've seen you in your roles. Like there's times where I'm on the side looking like, how the hell would you get out of this one? And if I see other people in that situation, they might look really tense, and then very calm. You start moving, and I don't know how you do it, but you end up getting out of it. And like I said, I'm sure you've had some hard roles, but it doesn't ever really look like you're getting pushed to your limits that much.
Yeah. It's funny, like the way you feel after it, because there's no depression anymore. So they kind of remove the ego of doing as well. For example, when I put myself in bad positions, like I don't feel like, okay, I want to try to get out, but if I don't get out fine as well. So there's not the ego, I need to get out, I need to avoid this and that and this and that. It's more like very relaxed, kind of enjoy more.
Yeah, well, from the outside, it looks like you got a pretty good lifestyle now. You got through the hard yards, and now you're able to enjoy the fruits of your achievements. It's good to see. Yeah. Do you think now, like everything that you've learned in your journey to world champion, now, like you've got your school now, you're getting into business. What do you think translates from jiu-jitsu into business? Because I know a lot of people are wanting to get out of working a job and things like that. What are some of the attributes that you've transferred from jiu-jitsu to business, finance, lifestyle?
Well, I would say, like, for myself, it's like I was trying to remove the idea of having a B plan there, and kind of stick with my game, like a game. What is the first thing I said for me? I think that kind of remove any kind of skills you can find on the way, because it won't be easy. It's not easy to anybody, and it won't be easy for you. So like you have to stick with that, and find the way and figure out the way to achieve that thing you're looking for, and putting all the puzzle together and learning, and trying to surround yourself with people that did it before. If you don't have the access to these people, trying to find the internet. And I think we're lucky with the world we live in today. You have so much access to internet, and kind of can try to get whatever information you're looking for and translate that to your perspective. That's about it. Like trying to really make that happen. I think that's for me is what I try to do the most. Is set the goals and make this happen. And just go there and do what I have to do. Don't even overthink about the things, and trying to make sure I cover all the parts I need to cover, and of course trying to fix along the way if thing doesn't go as planned, and as I told happen, and see what happened from there. And build on top of that.
Yeah. And what do you look for now? Like, are you seeking teachers and mentors in jiu-jitsu still, and if so, and in business and things like that? And if so, like, how do you choose people?
For me, I think always gonna come people that did it, and whatever trying to set my mind to active. I try to look for the people that did it before. and they kind of see the results of it and the way it kind of take you, and kind of make sure that's the path I want to take to myself. And if I think it's a good path and that's what I want, I think that's the people I try to surround myself by, and trying to listen to them, see what they have to say.
Mm-hmm. And can you, like, how do you know how do you discern between the people who actually know what they're talking about and the people that just talk about it?
Results, right? Results is what make people different of the others.
Yeah, where's the gold medal, right? Where's
Yeah,
the
like
black
where's
belt?
your gold medal, right? Yeah, I think results.
Yeah.
And it's also different kind of results as well, right? Like success is, so you can see it in so many different ways, how the person is and how they live, and if they're really happy with the life they're having.
Mm.
So
And
the
because
results is
I
all
imagine
something
it.
that the numbers just never lie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you gravitate towards now in the jiu-jitsu community in terms of looking at as a mentor?
Well, there's a few people that that I'm able to have access to them. Like, but I try to not only keep in jiu-jitsu, but keep it open. Like get different business as well, and different industry, and see what makes sense for me. But like in jiu-jitsu, that like Professor Guilherme, was a good thing to go there and train with them, with the Mendes. I did learn so much from them, and see from close as well. But I have other teammates as well that are very successful in what they do, and it's always good to exchange the kind of information and see what I can add to myself.
Sure.
Or you just give me a call and then we'll have a talk.
All right. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. I think, especially lunchtime classes during the week, there's a lot of independently successful people, especially
Yeah,
in
for
Byron.
sure.
And I know
For sure.
you're surrounded by some pretty smart people, so it must help a lot.
Yeah, very lucky with the community we have at the gym. A lot of smart people there, and doesn't matter what is like we talking about. Like you're always gonna have like a good opinions, and you're always gonna take something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just have to choke everyone.
Yeah, it's. I love how you can say that with absolute certainty, because you're probably you're probably one of the least what's the word I'm looking for? If we didn't know your background, we wouldn't suspect that you're the person that would be able to choke absolutely everybody in the room.
Depend on the day.
This little assassin depends on the day. Well, I'm sure there's not many, but yeah, it's it's amazing the example that you're setting. I see you roll with some pretty heavy guys in there, and just the way you move around there and dispatch people with ease. It's impressive. Yeah. The other thing that I'm pretty impressed with is the way you and I think we can see Millie walking past there a couple of times. The way you guys have teamed up and run the school, from what seems to be pretty, I'm sure there's all sorts of challenges behind the scenes, but from what I can see and it looks like it's running seamlessly. You guys are so young. I know you've got support around you with some, really smart people that have been in business a long time, which is great. But the way you guys have taken all that in your stride and dealing with parents, building the kids' classes up, which I know is challenging working with kids. It's great to see you guys succeeding.
Very lucky to have Millie beside me.
Dealing with
very
the challenge.
committed person as well to her goals and with the gym. Even we being very young, we know where we want to be and support each other and there for each other. And dealing for whatever comes on the way. It's not an easy thing, to run a place where you deal with the people directly and you deal with the people's expectation, and you're there to give to them. But so far we're doing a good job, doing the best we can.
Yeah, I think you guys are doing great, and I'll say it for you is that people that are bringing their kids to you to learn jiu-jitsu should let you teach them jiu-jitsu and get out of the way. It's not like if you take your kid to a piano teacher and you don't know how to play music, you wouldn't tell them how to do it. So
yeah. I do understand it, the feelings there. You seeing your kid, about to being choked, and someone's trying to buy your kid, and and parents end up living through the kids. But with time, they decide, let's say, you're starting to understand that it takes time, and the other people that to progress as well, and building the friendship, and having training partners, or they start building each other. They start adapting to the environment as well.
Yeah, and one thing that that is really clear is that parents who do jiu-jitsu as well as their kids, it usually works out much better.
Yeah. We're trying to encourage the parents to train as well. Now, if they can, make way easier, because you understand how hard it is, and you're there as well to answer questions. If your kids has questions, you can see things that even the kids can't see. So it does help. In the support, to be there for the kids, and encourage the kid to keep going.
Yeah, even if they're just showing up casually every couple of weeks to a class, I think you earn a lot of respect. The kids are like, oh, well, at least they know what I'm up against, and they're not just sitting on the sideline pushing me into all this stuff,
Yeah.
And you guys have got the supporting stuff around, like you've got the yoga and with Tara there, and next door you've got the CrossFit for the conditioning, and upstairs you've got boxing there, and it's there's lots of support
wrestling as well.
For people, which is great.
Yeah, it's a great place, a place for people that want to develop themselves and you want to do better, and there's a great place to be.
Yeah, and if if you're international and you're coming to Australia, you definitely want to come to Byron, and if you're into jiu-jitsu, you definitely want to turn up and have a roll. for sure at the academy.
For sure.
I've put the links into the academy in the comments and to your Instagram so people can get in touch with you and, you know, drop into a class or sign up and get into a class or send their kids to you and so they can get in contact with you that way. Is there anything you wanted to say, Thalison, before we wrap up?
No, just thank you for having me. It was great to talk to you and know your community. And as you said, if there's anyone that would like to start the jiu-jitsu journey and be part of our community, everyone is welcome. We have class for every age, start from 3 years old. Yeah, all levels, beginners, or someone that's been training already. It's a great community there, and for sure, you guys are gonna feel very welcome.
Thanks a lot, Thalison. I really appreciate you spending the time to talk to our community and to have this chat and be so open. And I'm sure when I get off this call and I review it, I'm going to have 1,000 questions I wish I asked you. So maybe we can do this again in the future.
Yeah,
down
for
the road
sure. Just let me know.
All right. Thanks a lot, Thalison. Really appreciate
Thank you so much.
being here. And
Thank
thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your attention. And we'll see you on the next video.
Os.